you guys are both former players, have seen lots of different players that are in the Midwest Premier League, kind of understand the environment. What can the fans of this club do to differentiate our home environment for the players that are going to go out onto the field? Because when you go to other clubs in this division, in this league, it can be sparse. So what can the fans do to create an atmosphere for the players that make them not only want to play here, but also just get excited about taking the field there?
Uh, yeah, I mean, at least in my experience, the atmosphere at the Midwest Premier League games isn't,
It's
uh,
abysmal, like, there's nothing.
yeah, it's not something to write home about.
Right.
And so for a lot of the guys that may have like college soccer experience or whatever level of experience they have, just getting an environment period where you can recognize that the fans actually understand what's happening in the game, where the fans are making noise, where where there's kids in the stands, if you have some sort of attraction for the kids to get them into the building so they're now excited to go to the game. Anything I think would help, just so that it's not the silence of feeling like a practice scrimmage, because I mean, that is what gets the players going. So I don't think it's a matter of what you do. I think it's just that there is an environment will get the guys going and excited, because that's not something that they'll see at most of the venues.
Yeah, I think that the fact that you guys are already looking at starting chants and stuff is really cool. Like once we have some signings to be able to have individual chants, you probably at that level, at the Midwest Premier League level, anybody that plays in that probably has never had that before. I think that that's a super cool part, and it seems like we'll probably have more fans than most teams, hopefully all the teams. So I think just showing up and being a part of it is really the big thing. And then, we'll put a product on the field that makes you want to come back. And we should,
Nice. Appreciate it, yeah. Looking forward to it.
Speaking of signings, we obviously don't kick a ball for another 10 months, from now. So what work is being done now to start shaping the roster heading into the 2027 season? Like now, basically.
May I take it?
I'll take it to start. So we already have a spreadsheet of players that we're going to try and sift through to, find the 20 to 25 that we really want. And then we'll have, guys right after that, if we can't get some of our top guys, and we'll just kind of keep it flowing down. But we already have two confirmed that are going to play with us. We have another, I think it was probably 10 that we're going to start talking to or have already started talking to. Um, I think you guys will like what we have going. We'll probably trend a little bit younger than a team like Boffs, but maybe a little bit between college players and guys that are like 23 to 28 ish, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, Guys that are going to work really hard, guys that are really smart on and off the field. And I'll let Chris take the rest since he's actually going to coach the team. And I don't want to give everything away.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it is going to be taking shape in the next, uh, you know, the summer's just ending, or I guess it's not even ending. But um, as soon as the announcement went out about the staff, we started getting people reaching out that made us both really excited about what the roster could look like next year. And I think maybe some people were confused, thinking that the season was about to start. When we got announced as the staff, hey, can we come play with you guys? And we had to tell them that we don't start until next year. But I think that momentum got us really excited for what the team can look like next year. We've had discussions about the way the team's going to play, but a lot of it is going to depend on the personnel that we get in the door. But I think Yeah, there have already been a lot of discussions. It's been a little difficult to lock anything down and cement when the season's 11 months away. So, yeah, it'll be an ongoing process for the rest of the year for sure.
Mhm. I guess tell us where these players are going to come from, because I think it's a kind of a broad assumption that obviously, you both are involved with dueling for Lincoln. So like, are we going to bring a lot of the TST guys over? Are we going to target where are these players going to come from basically?
They'll come from all over. We have no intention of specifically prioritizing that TST group. We are just looking for the best combination of players that we can find that can perform in the ways that we're looking for. So if that ends up being some of the dueling guys, then great. But if it doesn't, then it's not something where we're looking at the player pool that we have access to and saying we need to keep one group together or not. I think there's going to be players that fit from all over the place, and especially considering, like I was saying before, the phone calls that we've received. I think we've been a little surprised and excited by the reach that we have as far as where the players might come from.
Yeah, I think you'll see some. You'll probably see a few guys that are just out of high school. You'll probably see quite a few guys that play in college here or around the St. Louis area, and then a sprinkle of more veteran players, that 23 to 28, that will probably be more of the spine of the team. Yeah, we'll leave it at that for now.
Before starting with FPR, Chris, obviously you have a long background in the game, with your MLS experience, Score City 2. But at this level, this is, kind of new territory for you. So, what do you really know about soccer at this level, and how does your experience translate, I guess, to this level?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the positive surprise that I've seen from dealing with players at this level specifically, coming from MLS, I've always felt like, even at that level, there are times where I come across players where I'm like, they don't get the things that we're trying to do, right? And then coaching players and playing next to players at this level, I've been really excited about just how much they are willing to take on new information. Um, and I've felt like maybe they haven't had access to the level of information that I've had access to. So um, I think having that blend of experience is going to be good for players at this level, because maybe I'll be giving them new ideas that they're excited to take on, or verifying ideas that they've had that they're like, I think this is a good idea, but they haven't been somewhere that's been able to implement it. And so I think having players of different backgrounds can only be a positive. Um, so, I also am open to learning things from whoever comes in the door, and growing in that way. And I think, hopefully create an environment where everyone can grow together.
Does anyone else have any questions? I don't want to hog the floor here or anything like that, but if anyone has any questions, feel free to lob them their way.
At the soccer.
Oh, sorry, Michael, you can go.
Oh, I was gonna say in the Soccer Dad podcast, one Chris said he would not play without Sam Fink. So in theory, would you put on some cleats and then Sam will play?
Did I say that? I think Sam might have said he wouldn't play without me, but
Okay, the other way around.
Uh,
As
the-
the sporting
Or
director,
maybe I should refer it the other way around. If Sam Fink says he will play, would you play? Or if he asked you to play with him, would you put on soccer cleats for like another year, whether it's our team or another team?
there's no other team. First off,
Yeah.
Michael.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's probably a question for the GM and also
It is not off the table.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We talk about it every once in a while. I think I wouldn't say it's a yes or anywhere close to that, but
Okay.
we'll see what we can do.
it would be the preferred method for it to be a no. That's what I'll say. I think my knees and ankles would thank me for not putting on the boots, but it's not impossible.
I took that as a yes.
Would you and Sam be willing to model our jerseys when we release them so we can sell the hell out of them?
Yeah. Anything for the badge, right?
Right.
All right, Billy.
Yeah, so I mean, earlier, Chris, you mentioned styles of play, kind of just depending on who we can bring in, talent-wise. But like going outside of that, are there any just non-negotiables that we've set in place that we're absolutely guaranteed, or is it just all going to be flexible until we kind of get a feel on the players that we will be bringing in?
Yeah, I guess I want to be clear just about one thing that I the thing that will be flexible. I feel like flexible is a tough word, right? Like I don't want to make any hard and fast decisions on the way the team is going to play before we get players in the door. Once we get players in the door, in the nicest way possible, like I'm a little bit arrogant, right? Like I want the team to have an identity. I want it to have a culture. We are going to play the way that we're going to play, and everyone that comes to play against us is going to know what they're going to see when they come to play against us. That will not be flexible. But until we get the players in the door, I think if we want to be a team that is really efficient on the counterattack, but we have players that want the ball to their feet and are a little bit more methodical, then that's just not something that's going to work. And so we have to wait until we get the players in the door to know a little bit more of the details. But once we do have them, I think we'll be able to create a clearer identity. So I just kind of wanted to be clear about that part. As far as the non-negotiables, I was a defender, and so, I always felt like I played with and against players that were miles better than me, but I made it farther than a lot of them because I worked harder. So that's my identity. And so the group that we bring in the door will have a non-negotiable of making sure that every time they put on the boots, 100% max effort or you're not going to play. And a focus on defending. I do not expect to have any patience for what I would consider a luxury player that is out there to create at some level, but then not contribute to the other side of the ball. So everyone will have defensive responsibility. I believe that defense initiates our attack. So you defend well, you have to defend for less time, you can spend more time on the ball.
Obviously, the current Midwest Premier League season is winding down with the Gateway Championship this tomorrow in Colombia, St. Louis Stars and Great Plains. But you've been in this role now. You both have been in your roles now since the beginning of May. So, what impressions have you gotten this season from the Gateway East or just the Midwest Premier League as a whole?
I think there is a lot of parity in how good teams are. I think at the top there's a good 3 or 4, and then at the bottom there's a not good 3 or 4. Which It's hard because I want to play the Boffs and the Atar every time, the St. Louis Stars every time, and I hope that more teams. It seems like in the last couple of years, more teams have trended upward. So I'm hoping that we get a more teams that are going to trend upward and less that are going to, you know, not win a game or just draw a couple of games. I think there are a lot better players than I thought there would be at the top, but I think that it's pretty much there for the taking. It seems like between 3 or 4 teams than us next year. Obviously we don't know who else is coming in the league, but I think that we'll compete for sure at the top of the table. I think it's a growing league and it's getting better, but there's still too much parity in how good the teams are. Yeah.
And
Do you guys see? I got a question.
Where does that come from?
Matthew, sorry, I don't have. I'm in the car, but
Yeah, you're good.
I was wondering if you guys see a path to producing pros, and if maybe that might not be year one, but year two, three, and what's kind of the ceiling for level of professional that you guys think you could churn out as using FPR as a platform.
Yeah, me too.
I think that just the structure of the league, and when they play
Hey, Jonathan.
makes it really difficult for it to be like a specific part of the pro pathway. I think there's every opportunity for players that are on a pro pathway to use Forest Park and to come play with this club as part of their journey. Just either as a team when they're in their summer from college or in the off season for whatever it is that they're trying to do. But a 2.5 month season makes it really difficult for the pro pathway to be a priority of the club.
Yeah, I think that I view it more as not a stepping stone, but I think that we can be, as Chris said, part of the journey for a lot of players, whether it's the high school players that are at the tip top of the St. Louis game, or if it's the college players that we can help move on, or maybe we have contacts at other places that are higher than Midwest Premier League, whether it's USL 1, USL, maybe MLS. But I wouldn't expect us to develop a player from 18 to 21 and pass them on. But I think that we've had talks with guys that would definitely look to play here, look to play under a guy who's played in the MLS, who's coached for City 2, who, I think that's a big reason that we will have the upper hand on a lot of teams is, well, if you're a college, who are you going to send your players to? Are you going to send them to Joe Schmo, who coached in the high school levels for a little bit? Or are you going to send them to Chris Duvall, who coached for City 2, Charleston Battery, played for 5 teams in MLS, knows how to prep a player to get to that level? I think that's one of the big reasons that I wanted Chris to be a part of this. I mean, I think a lot of coaches are going to send players our way because of that. And maybe people do look at this as, okay, well, I can play under somebody in the MLS for 2 or 3 months. He's going to help me get more prepared than, UPSL, NPS, whatever the acronym leagues are. That's not the Midwest Premier League. So I think that there's definitely going to be a couple guys that play pro within maybe 5 years of this starting up, but it won't be directly because of us. We'll be helpful in that, though.
Okay. I guess ultimately, I know you talked about this a little bit, Chris, in the Soccer Dad pod, but ultimately, where do you see leagues like the Midwest Premier League fitting in, the development pyramid or in the development cycle, for players like that? Kind of elaborating, do you feel that leagues like this are vital to a player's growth?
Yeah, I think any avenue a player can take to get more touches on the ball as opposed to less is a positive avenue for their development. I mean, when I was in college, I went back and do the Atlanta Silverbacks still exist? I don't know if the Atlanta Silverbacks still exist,
I
but
don't think they do.
Atlanta Silverbacks were an NASL team when I was in college and when I was growing up, and they had a reserve team. And when I was in college, I would go back and play with the Silverbacks reserves in a league, a local. I don't even know what the league was called, right? Like it wasn't like something that I sought out. I wasn't saying I need to go play in a certain league. It was I need touches on the ball in a place that is available for me, right? Some place that I can get to easily so that I can just get more touches on the ball in a consistent way in a competitive environment. And in that way, I think Forest Park, yeah, of course, could be vital to players' development because it's a time of the year where even in the youth clubs, they're taking time off. In college, you're taking time off. In the pros, you're taking time off. So for a player to have now a place to get better while everyone else is taking time off, massive, massive, massive opportunity.
Any other questions?
Tim, I don't know if it was mentioned before. Is there a place where people can send you an email to say, "Hey, can you look at this guy or look at that guy? Would you be interested in that type of thing?" Can I tell you about my cousin who is playing in high school right now, or anything like that? Or is that something you're probably not interested in?
Definitely interested in that. This is by no means
Okay.
a me and Chris deal. It's a Forest Park Rangers deal, and while we're not going to take every single player, obviously, we'll definitely take a look at anybody you guys see fit. You can hit me up on Instagram or at the Gateway Football Group emails. Just probably Instagram is probably best though. I'm on Instagram more than email, so it's just Tim Koppel RK.
Yeah, Instagram is kind of king for soccer
It's
at
the
this
new
level,
email.
as I learned. Every player is on Instagram right now, so it's crazy. You mentioned 2 signings so far.
Yes.
What, if anything, can you say about these 2 signings?
Okay. The first one plays for Dueling for Lincoln. The second one scored in the last round of games in the Midwest Premier League.
Okay, David, I know you're our Midwest Premier League sicko. Start investigating that last one.
I can already see someone doing the math.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll leave you with those 2 clues. We will probably play in a tournament at some point early in 2026, and both of those players will play. So it'll be a fun one though. And you'll also get to see Chris and Sam play.
Really? Think your ankle's gonna be up for it, Chris?
That's Dave. I ask it every day. I wake up in the morning. I'm like, are we good today or not? I don't know. So we'll see.
Well, I guess, guys, was there anything else you wanted to discuss today?
I'll throw something out there. I know it's Midwest Premier League, but we treat it a lot more than just that. We're coming for blood. We're coming to win the title and be the best team in the Midwest Premier League every single year, and hopefully move up or just be the Kings forever. But we love that you guys have so much love for this club, and we haven't even kicked the ball yet, and we take that very seriously, and we're going to put product on the field that you guys will be very proud of, and hopefully want to come to games for a long, long time. It'll be an experience like hopefully nobody's ever seen. We've got some stuff up our sleeves for game day that we'd really like. We'd really like to get some of the players and us in the Forest Park community. So it's not just a 10-game season. It's a year-round thing or as much of a year-round thing as possible. But we really happy to be a part of the community more than just being the coach and the sporting director.
All right. Sporting director Tim Koppel, head coach Chris Duvall. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.